So we had to know as soon as Crawford won the fight that people was going to start making comparisons to him and Floyd Mayweather. You know, it's odd that people say Floyd Mayweather ain't this, we don't miss him, we hate him, you know, saying we didn't like him when he was fighting. But for some strange, odd reason, everything revolves around Floyd. You know, Pacquiao come out of retirement, he fights Keith Thurman, semi-retirement, fights Keith Thurman, look good, fights Barrios to a draw. All he gets bombarded with is questions about Floyd Mayweather. Will Floyd Mayweather come out of retirement? Or do you want to fight Floyd again? They've been trying to get Floyd to come out of retirement since Floyd retired, but nobody wants to see Floyd fight. You know, it's crazy. Canelo loses to Floyd, right? And ever since then, every passing year since Canelo lost to Floyd 13 some odd years ago, it's been, do you think Floyd want to rematch you now? You think he's ready? You know what I'm saying? Will he come out of retirement to fight you now? You know, it's crazy, man. Let that man rest in retirement.
What?
You know, so we had to know as soon as Crawford beat Canelo that they was going to use Canelo as a litmus between Crawford and Floyd to have this discussion around who beat Canelo the best. And what you get is all these, it was strange, you get this from fighters also, not just like media commentary, media personalities, but boxers are saying that they give Crawford more credit because he fought a more experienced version of Canelo. But here's the problem. Experience does not mean better. Experience just means you've been through something. And it's odd because we should understand this. There's a lot of experiences I have in my life of things that I did physically that I can't do now. I played sports growing up. You know what I'm saying? I played football, basketball, and baseball. Physically, I'm not in a place to play like I did when I was young. Yeah, I got that experience, but that don't mean I'm better now at football, baseball, and basketball than I was when I was in my, teens and 20s. That it just doesn't work that way, people. Why do you think athletes retire around 33 to 35 years old on average? If experience make them better by default, then they should be at their best right there, right? 45, they should be even better. 55, they should be even better. I mean, y'all got to stop this silliness, man. Experience doesn't mean better. You know what I'm saying? I used to do acrobats, right? I used to flip and everything. I can't do a flip right now, bro. I'm way heavier than I was when I was in my teens and 20s. You know what I'm saying? I mean, significantly heavy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 228 right now. Yeah, I know that's a shame. I'm trying to get down to about 220. I'm about 220, well, actually about 215. I'm 228 right now. When I was doing acrobats, bro, I was no more than 160 pounds. And I want you to think about that. Do you think that I can do the things that I did back then today? I'm experienced. I'm wiser. I should, technically, according to y'all, I should be a better acrobat right now than I was when I was young. Man, it don't work that way, man. These are just narratives y'all use to try to maintain this operation of diminishing Floyd, as if you could retroactively take away his success. You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. Canelo being more experienced now doesn't mean that the version of Canelo that Crawford fought was better. Now, I'm gonna show you something because I want to harp on this experience before I get into the problems with the fight itself. Now, this is not my words. I just typed this in, as you can see right here. See, why do people erroneously believe experience means better, right? That's all I typed in. This is the AI. See, people sometimes erroneously believe experience means better due to several cognitive biases and psychological factors, meaning that there's something wrong with your mind, bro. If you think experience itself means that you are better, that's a flaw in the way your mind processes reality. That's what it's trying to say. And it's a psychological factor that prioritize the familiar and create the illusion of expertise. While experience is valuable for learning, it does not automatically equate to superior skill or knowledge and can even hinder innovation. Let's go to narrative fallacy. Let me make sure my head is not on this here. Narrative fallacy. Humans are wired to create stories that simplify complex events. This is what y'all doing. Y'all have created stories to simplify complex realities, right? and you're trying to say that, okay, we want to diminish Floyd, but our goal is to put Floyd down at any cost. And if we got to elevate Crawford right now to do that, then let's do that. Let's put Floyd down, right? But the problem is you're using a fallacy to put him down. You're using a narrative fallacy to put him down. With all that being said, here is the bottom line. Here's the fact of the matter. You crazy if you think this version, this 36-year-old Canelo is better than the 22-year-old Canelo that fought Floyd. He doesn't move the same. He doesn't counterpunch. He doesn't jab. Go back and look at the fight with Floyd. Floyd had to actually think of how to get to Canelo because Canelo would counterpunch. He threw double jabs to the body and to the head. You know what I'm saying? He was a different fighter back then. He had good upper body movement. Canelo was just a different fighter back then, which is why they wanted him to fight Floyd. That's another thing we got a problem with in modern society is context collapse. You know, we keep another narrative fallacy we keep on mentioning is that, you know, and I heard this on during the commentation last night, you know what I'm saying, in the commentary last night, they kept alluding to the Crawford did not have a catch weight or rehydration clause. But, you know, and that's a shot at Floyd. But the thing is, Floyd didn't have a catch weight or rehydration clause either. The catch weight was Canelo's idea. You got to understand that Canelo and Floyd were never the same size. They were never going to fight. They were like two people, one traveling north, coming from the south, the other one traveling east, coming from the west, and they cross points at a town. Whatever they gonna do, they gotta do it now, or that's it. If Canelo don't fight Floyd when he fought Floyd, he outgrows the opportunity to fight Floyd. Because that's what was happening. Immediately after the Floyd fight, Canelo started fighting at a catch weight of 155. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, he was the catch weight king. Y'all talking about catch weights, but y'all praise two of the catch weight kings of modern boxing. Manny Pacquiao and Canelo Álvarez. I don't think nobody has used more catch weights combined to their advantage than they did. Canelo offered the catch weight to Floyd because Canelo wasn't even on Floyd's radar. Floyd was going to fight Amir Khan. But the media, the boxing media, the hate media, the social media that hate Floyd, the Mexicans that hate Floyd, they were all saying he needs to fight Canelo, but he's not going to do it because he's scared, because Canelo could do this, Canelo could do that, he's a complete boxer and all this stuff. And that's why they wanted Floyd to fight him, you know what I'm saying? Because they knew Canelo was a better boxer back then than he is now. Canelo was legitimately a problem when Floyd fought him. And you crazy if you think that this 36-year-old version of Canelo with lead feet that don't jab, that throw wide hooks and everything, is the same as the 22-year-old that Floyd fought. It's not even, bro, it's night and day. They're not even the same people. The old Canelo will knock this Canelo out, man. And that's not taking a shot at Canelo. He's older. He's been through wars. The dude got, almost 70 fights under his belt. He is old in terms of boxing. And Crawford, to the contrary, is younger in terms of boxing. And he's younger than Floyd was at 38 in terms of boxing. Because pretty boy Floyd went through wars. Crawford was always a boxer mover. He's never been through the wars. Crawford has never been through the kind of battles that Floyd been through when he was pretty boy Floyd, you know what I'm saying? So Crawford is actually at 38, he is younger physically than Floyd was at 37 when he fought Canelo. So not only was Floyd over the hill, Canelo was fresh in his prime when Floyd fought him. Canelo was at his best. And you can argue, well, not at his best because he picked some things up from Floyd. Well, that's what experience does to you, right? Experience lets you pick some things up that he could physically act upon. So you notice they used to use the little swingy things in Canelo's training to help his upper body movement, right? When the last time have you seen Canelo trainer doing that? When was the last time you seen him bring out the little swings and swinging at him all kinds of ways and Canelo ducking and, moving around? When the last time have you seen that? You know why you haven't seen it? Because his body can't move like that no more. You know what I'm saying? He can't do it. He physically cannot move like that anymore. So they don't even train like that anymore. They was training like that after the Floyd fight because they realized that was something he could incorporate in his toolkit. That's what fighting Floyd gave him. That's the experience lesson that he learned from fighting Floyd that he incorporated. But they haven't done that in years, man, because he can't physically move like that anymore. That's the thing y'all have to understand. Floyd had to learn how to fight in the pocket because he liked to fight and he likes to counterpunch. You know what I'm saying? So Floyd don't like using leg movement. Crawford used more leg movement in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Floyd was forced, when Floyd used leg movement, he's trying to reset and trying to get in position so he can get close and counterpunch. Crawford liked to fight at a mid-range. You know what I'm saying? From the outside to mid-range. He don't really like going inside too much, but he was beating Canelo up in the inside. I mean, I think if they fought again, I think Crawford stopped Canelo this time. You know what I'm saying? So, but Crawford used more leg movement. But the point is, the reason why the media wanted Canelo to fight Floyd at that time, because Canelo was a real problem at that time. This version of Canelo is not a problem, bro. He's not a problem. The thing is, the truth of the matter is, you just don't have a whole lot of really elite boxers out there, right? You don't have a whole lot of really elite fighters out there. You know what I'm saying? Crawford is one of the only ones you have out there. Jerron Boots in it. If Canelo was to fight Boots, you know what I'm saying? Say Boots can handle the weight, you know, can handle all that. Boots gonna beat him up too. You know, it's just that style of fighting that's going to always give Canelo a problem. And Canelo was actually better against that style when he was young. That's why he was able to deal with Lara. That's why he was able to deal with Floyd a little better. Floyd still beat him in a lopsided fight. But if you watch the fight, you can see that Floyd had to do a lot more thinking to deal with Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Because Canelo just wasn't easy to deal with. Crawford didn't have to really think much to deal with Canelo because Canelo only does one thing. Wide shots to the body, wide shots up top, you know what I'm saying? Single punches, you know, try to get in close and throw a hard shot, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what he do is what he do because that's all he can do right now because physically he don't move the same. But if you watch the fight with Floyd, you can see that Canelo had more tools in his toolbox. He had jabs. He had up-down jabs, you know what I'm saying? He had counter punches. He had slip back counter. You know, he had a shoulder roll and come back, you know what I'm saying? Canelo had some real tools when he fought Floyd that he don't have right now because he physically cannot do that anymore. So this whole notion, this whole narrative that Crawford fought a more experienced version of Canelo, which means, which assumes that means he fought a better version of Canelo, is not true. Because Crawford himself admitted that when he was first asked about fighting Canelo, he said no. But then after he sat back and watched Canelo a few times, watched some of his fights, he realized, nah, this dude here, he ain't all that, I could beat him. And that's when he started pushing for the fight. Floyd never watched tape on Canelo. He didn't study Canelo. Floyd fought Canelo because the money was there. He fought Canelo because that's what the people are demanding. Floyd, you gotta understand how Floyd looked at the world around him, right? Y'all make it sound like he cherry picked, but he didn't. I mean, he did in a way, but not in the way y'all think he did. In Floyd's mind, nobody was going to beat him anyway, so there was no risk there. His thing was economics. Who I can make the most money fighting. That was it. That was it. As far as his mind goes of the risk of fighting, he felt like there was no risk because he didn't actually believe that nobody could beat him anyway. See, y'all want to make it seem like Floyd was scared of these dudes. That's not the case. Floyd he actually believed in his skills. He believed that there was no way these dudes was going to beat him. He knew he was good for a punch. He could take a punch. He knew he gave a decent punch, even with bad hands, that you had to respect him. And he knew that he had that shell defense. He had the high guard defense. He had good countering, good slips. He just didn't believe that with all of the ways he fight, all the different looks he was giving around, high guard in, shoulder roll back, outrange, you know, pull counter, you know what I'm saying? But all the things he did, he just didn't feel like nobody's going to beat him. So there was really no risk in his mind in that regard. His decisions were strictly economic. So everybody who accused him of that is right, but just not in the way they accuse him. His decision was strictly economics. He was looking at who I can make the most money fighting. That was it. That was it. The risk wasn't there. So, when it came to Canelo, he did a poll. Floyd actually did a poll at that time. His fans chose Amir Khan. They figured Amir Khan, a little taller, real fast hands, long arms. They figured that stylistically, that would be a hard fight for Floyd. And I think, I agree. I think stylistically, I think Amir Khan would have been a very hard fight for Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Styles make fights, people. It's not about people's records and all this stuff. It's about how they fight. Styles make fights. You know what I'm saying? I think stylistically, I think Amir Khan would have been a hard fight for Floyd. But since the people were screaming and hollering for Canelo, the Mexican fan base was hollering for Canelo, the media was hollering for Canelo, Floyd did the numbers. He figured, okay, the Canelo fight is a bigger fight. I'll make more money fighting Canelo. So he fought Canelo. I mean, that's what his decision was based on. The catchweight was all Canelo's idea because for some reason, he didn't believe Floyd would fight him at 154. But Floyd had already fought De La Hoya at 154. Why Canelo thought that he wouldn't fight him at 154, you may not understand, but I do understand. They believed that because Canelo was actually a problem back then. The dude actually used to box. And they figured, given all of his skill sets and the weight, that Floyd wasn't going to want to fight him at 154. So they offered the fight at 152 to try to goat Floyd in. And Floyd accepted the 152 catchweight, but said immediately after the papers were signed, I would have fought him at 154. That's what Floyd said. So y'all keep on trying to use this narrative, trying to control this covert operation of trying to diminish Floyd and retroactively take away his greatness by using a single fighter. You know what I'm saying? But it's really two fighters y'all hold on to. Y'all try to use Canelo and try to make it like Floyd drained him down and put a rehydration clause. There was no rehydration clause and Floyd did not drain him down. Canelo was already fighting at like 152 and 150 because Canelo never wanted to fight at the full weight class because he always wanted to use a rehydration clause to get an advantage. So he was the man that was doing this stuff anyway. He had been doing it. That's why he started fighting at 155. This is what Canelo did. Canelo don't like fighting at the proper weight because he wants to bring dudes down or bring dudes up to a catchweight. That's what he does. You know what I'm saying? He uses weight as a weapon. Pacquiao, the other person who y'all hold on to, did the same thing. He used weight as a weapon. Pacquiao so-called 8 division title at 154 came at a catchweight of what, 152 or 150? He never even fought at 154, people. But he got a 154 pound title. How? That's what you call manufacture. That's called playing with the game, you know what I'm saying? Floyd never had the benefit of people wanting to lie for him that badly to elevate him and give him accolades that he don't deserve. You know what I'm saying? But these other guys were used as antithesis to Floyd. You know, Canelo was an antithesis to Floyd. Pacquiao was an antithesis to Floyd. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't mind elevating these people by any means necessary just so they can have somebody that they can point to above Floyd. This how Canelo got so rich. Canelo got them big paydays, got that big contract. All this because they wanted to say that he had the highest paid contract in the history of boxing rather than Floyd. They didn't want Floyd to have that accolade. They wanted to give it to somebody else. So these people was willing to throw money away so that Canelo could fight bums, you know what I'm saying? Just so they can say he had the highest contract in boxing history. So they can make it look like that also equates to him being better. So now you got the money. That don't make you better, you know what I'm saying? And the experience doesn't make you better. These things don't make you better, people. They don't make you better. So anyway, Floyd fought Canelo because that's something that y'all wanted. That wasn't something he wanted. And if they didn't fight at the time they fought, that fight was going to pass by. That is the fact. But also the reason why they pushed so hard for that fight at that time is because they believe that with all of Canelo's tools and weapons, that he was going to be a problem for Floyd. And to be honest, he really was. I don't think the fight was close, like score-wise. But, I mean, Crawford dominated Canelo to me a little bit better than Floyd did, although Floyd beat him to me easier. If that makes sense to you. I don't know if that makes sense. Both of them beat him, I think, 10-2, but it just, they fought two different versions of Canelo, you know, which allowed for Crawford to dominate, whereas Floyd had the outskill. So Canelo could say that he think Crawford was better than Floyd because he's smart. I mean, but what was Floyd? If Crawford was smart on Canelo, then what was Floyd? Come on, man. You got such a bad beating in the Floyd fight that you started incorporating his training techniques. The only difference between the little swingy things and what Floyd was doing, you know, with the hand mitts, you know what I'm saying, was that one had mitts and one had swinging thing, but it was the same thing. It was basically the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? Canelo's working on seeing things coming at him, because they would swing. They wouldn't just swing up and down. They would swing wide. You know, he had to duck. I mean, it taught him real quick reflexes, eye coordination, you know what I'm saying? Good training, but he got that from Floyd. So I don't know how he gives so much credit to Crawford and take away credit from Floyd, but you know, we know what that's really about. That's about the hate, right? That's about the hate, you know, and he gotta say that right now, because he gotta explain why he's been lying, talking about he's at his best, knowing he's nowhere near his best. His time has been up. Canelo has been out of his prime. He's been out of his prime. Canelo probably left his prime at 27, bro. 27, 28 years old, he probably was out of his prime. He's been left his prime because he's been doing it too long. He's been in too many wars. He's been out there too long. His legs ain't the same. You know what I'm saying? He don't jab. His boxing IQ altogether is not the same. You know, he's easy picking right now for a decent boxer. Canelo is easy pickings. He's easy picking. A decent boxer with some decent punch, he's easy picking. Well, he got to respect. See, Canelo didn't have to respect Caleb Plant. He had to respect Crawford. Crawford had a little more pop. So anyway, the whole point of this is that we got to stop these narratives, right? And we got to be honest. The version of Canelo that Crawford fought is not as good as the version of Canelo that Floyd fought. We got to understand that. Let's kill the talks. Let's not use Canelo as a litmus and just automatically say that he's better because he's been around longer. That don't make you better. People do get old. Knees get bad, legs get bad, you know what I'm saying? Technique starts to slip, you know what I'm saying? Speed start to slip, you know, head movement start to slip. You know, come on, man. We can't make it sound like he fought a better version simply because he's been around longer. It doesn't work that way, my people. It doesn't work that way. But kudos to Crawford. He did his thing. It was a damn good fight, you know, for him and for his fan base. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really surprised because I was never really high on Canelo. I always knew Canelo just had problems with real boxers. We seen it with Bivol. We seen it with Floyd. You know what I'm saying? Why we thought we wouldn't see it with Crawford, only because of the weight. But not for the weight situation, we thought we'll see it with Crawford too. But now we see that, you know, if he don't have some kind of physical advantage, he's in trouble with a real boxer. Experience does not equate to being better at anything. Because at a certain point, especially when you're talking about something physical, at a certain point, you physically are just not the same. And the experience won't matter. You know what I'm saying? And something like a sport, you know, all the experience in the world don't matter when you're 50. You know what I'm saying? You just can't do it no more, man. You just physically not the same. All experience in the world won't matter. So, you know, this is a narrative fallacy. So, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back next time, man. I'm out of here. So long.